Good morning. Happy Friday the 13th. Welcome to the Pitch Track Chronicles. I'm Uncle Tass with Rob. Donald is running just a moment behind. He should be jumping in any second now. There's Donald. Good morning to everybody hanging out with us on this wonderful day after a sweep. Getting ready for a series with Boston. But before we get to Boston, we do have to get into the series with Kansas City, as we not only had the sweep in Kansas City, we did sweep them for the year. Which is something that the Yankees have not been able to do to some of these teams, seems like for a while now. And it did seem like everybody on the roster had some form of contributions in the series, which was nice to see. Like we talked about the other day, the extending the innings, lengthy at bats, reliable pitching from people that we haven't really expected it from. But all in all, it was actually a very well played series going into this revenge series in Boston. So, Rob, how are we feeling coming off of that sweep?
Feel great. Just knowing that we got the bounce back. This is a series win in general. Bouncing back after that rough series with Boston, and knowing that we're going to go into this next series with them on a bit of a hot streak is nice. And a lot of people stepped up. The starting pitching was really good. The bullpen in the close game was really good. In the two blowouts, they were like shaky at best. The offense did its job apart from last night, but the lineup wasn't great. You kind of didn't expect too much offense, wet surface and all that. And Pablo Reyes, of all people, getting the final run while slipping. So it's like he giveth and he almost take. It's like it makes too much sense that it was him that slipped and had to score the run that way. But it was nice to get the series win. It was great to get the sweep. It was a weird game last night because I didn't feel like we were going to score much at all, but I also didn't expect to get a shutout from Will Warren and the rest of our pitching staff. So that was very nice to see Will Warren bounce back because his last couple of starts have been not that great, and Kansas City has a pretty good lineup out there. Anthony Volpe showing his range at shortstop. That was a fantastic play. The defense in general. Trent Grisham's a wizard every time he's out there in center field. It was a well-played series. Wasn't perfect by any means, but hey, we got the sweep. And yeah, TC, Devin Williams, 2 outings in back-to-back games where he did his job, and he looked pretty darn good doing it. So just all in all, great series win, great sweep, 42-25 now I think it is. Nice lead in the AL East, and we got a chance for revenge coming up starting tonight. So I'm feeling pretty good, and hopefully we have a good weekend ahead of us.
Donald, how you feeling this morning?
I got none. Pablo Reyes scoring the winning run by falling on his ass. Running left, running right, running left, running right, falling over. I'm screwed. Oh, wait, I'm not screwed. Then he runs in and he falls over and scores. I have never seen anything quite like anything as goofy as that, but it was the winning run. So fuck me, right? I mean, when he was in and we were halfway through the game, I was like, this is locked in Aaron Hicks Award. Like, Pablo Reyes is a clown. This is locked in. I have it written down in black ink. Aaron frickin' Hicks. Pablo Reyes. He's the worst. And then he gets a hit. But not just before that, makes an amazing play with his glove. With a throw from his glove. That was pretty good. And then scores the winning run in the goofiest way possible. So what can I say? I got nothing. And then, of course, the biggest hater of Anthony Volpe on this channel, including the people that subscribe, me, I have to shut up because that was one of the finest plays I've seen from shortstop. That was insane range from Anthony Volpe. That play, holy Jesus, that was a hell of a play. I was just like, oh, Donald, man. You maybe need to chill, like, because that guy can actually play. So sometimes when you watch it and you have to reevaluate, there's something. No, that was ridiculous range, and then the criticisms he doesn't have an arm. I mean, I don't know how he did that. The angle wasn't in his favor. And it was just absolutely inch perfect. So what can I say? That play, I mean, I would show it if we didn't get copyrighted, but it was just remarkable. It was one of the finest plays from short I've seen since, you could say, Derek Jeter.
I was going to say a very Jeter-esque type
Only
play.
time I will ever use those two names in the same sentence. But I mean, he obviously channeled Jeter's favorite kind of play, and he did his own little twist on it. So listen, man, I gotta eat some crow here. You know, I mean, it's kind of fun to hate on Pablo Reyes, but I can't hate on him today. And it's kind of fun to hate on Anthony Volpe. I can't hate on him today. He's really fucking good. So what can I say? I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready to just take back everything I've said about the guy, but for one game, he's immune. Let's just put it that way. He's got immunity for today's show. And when you have the feeling, because you know that, his gut's got to be telling him when Stanton comes back, he's the guy out. So he's like, you know what? This might be my last chance in the lineup. I'm just putting everything out there and just giving it my best. And, he fell on his ass. He could have easily just gone right back to third base, but then he was able to actually see the ball was going to first instead of coming directly to home. And so he got up off his feet and kind of crawled to the base. It was, hey, a win is a win. We'll take what we can.
A better throw, he's out. That's the thing, and we're screaming at him. So
why didn't you go back?
Yeah, it's interesting. That's baseball, man. That's baseball.
Baseball season. What can I say? But it is funny though. I mean, you can't argue. I mean, that was a hell of a play though with the glove. That was nice. That was a nice throw. But yeah, what can I say? And the thing was, when they say like never go against your first thought, his first thought was right because he rounded third, and he was heading straight for home, and then he double backed and then stopped. And to be fair, our completely incompetent third base coach was still waving him home, and he still ignored him because he tried to run back to third, but then he realized he was going to get caught in a run out, and then he tried to go home, and then he fell on his ass because I probably would do the same thing when your brain's trying to tell you to go right instead of left. You just got but he got back up again and he scored. So what can I say? It was fun. It was a fun way to end. It was a hell of a series. Well pitched. And what can you say?
Yeah, it was almost felt like with the rain delay yesterday, it was just going to just really put the brakes on the Yankees and kind of ruin the momentum that they've had to that point. But I mean, at that point, you got to give the credit to the bullpen, for making sure that zero stayed there. Because it's still at that point after the rain delay, there was still there were no runs put up. So you just had this feeling like, all right, like TC was saying earlier, with Lugo on the mound, Lugo always gives us a big problem, and he did. So the rain delay also screwed up their plan as well. So Mother Nature really tried throwing, the final game of curveball, and Yankees were able to scrape it out. And like I said, I'll take the win any way we can. It's still a win in the record books. And it's a 1-run win, which now when it comes to a 1-0 score, they showed on the TV yesterday that the Yankees do lead the majors in that, winning those games with 5, which I thought I didn't even realize it until
is that right?
5 1-0 wins.
Wow, 1-0. Okay.
So that shows just maybe, as much as we get on the bullpen, maybe it's not as bad as we think. But I'm sure a lot of those were when we also had Weaver in the mix too.
It's actually interesting that the bullpen has been that good in the 1-0 games, but when we're up like 10-0, we have a headache.
Yeah.
And they start giving up runs. Like the other night, it was 6-0, and I think it was Leiter came in and just started getting rocked. And I was like, are they really going to do this again? Like, can we just have a comfortable win for once? And the night before, De Los Santos got himself into a little bit of trouble. But then last night, it's 1-0. I'm like, they're going to blow this, right? Like, there's no way they're not going to blow this. And they didn't. So I'm like, all right, maybe they're able to turn it up in the big moments, but a couple of series ago they weren't able to in the big moments. So I don't really know about this bullpen. It's still very, very suspect. Hopefully Efros can be better than Hedrick. I hope. But last night they bounced back in a big way because the bullpen's been really bad since Weaver's injury, outside of a couple of guys, really mainly Devin Williams. So hopefully this turns it around. But yeah, that was clutch from them. That was really clutch to come in after the rain delay because Warren was dealing and he was getting himself out of some jams. And then for them, it was Hill, I think. I can't remember who pitched before Devin Williams, but Tim Hill did a great job. He's been really good this year. Leiter bounced back, and they got the win. So good job from the bullpen. Hopefully this gets them going because this series against Boston is going to be pretty telling about where they are. Because if they have another good series, we can start to feel a little bit better. But if they get rocked again, there's going to be a lot more question marks about what this team's going to do until Weaver's back.
Yeah, I mean, if we sweep the Red Sox, then the division's done. Well, I'm pretty confident in saying that. I think that we'd already win the division if we sweep the Red Sox in the series, and certainly give the Red Sox a hell of a difficult job in coming back into the playoff race. I know it's still early, but that's how there is significance to this series. You know what I'm saying? Because had we did the job in the previous series against the Red Sox, then I think I think we feel pretty good about it. But do the job at Fenway, then I think the Yankees could feel really good about making sure that they clinch the division. I know it's only June, but we're already 17 games above 500, and we don't even have like Stanton back yet, and Luis Gil and things like that, and Weaver's going to be back in a couple of weeks, so we got some ammunition coming, plus the deadline. So this could be a big series. So lay a marker down this series. I don't want no more punt games. I assume that was Boone's punt lineup out the way yesterday. Still managed to sneak a win with the punt lineup. So yeah. I assume that he won't be doing any punt games this series, but who knows with Aaron Boone.
Yeah. You got to worry about Toronto. That's really it for now, at least, because Toronto's been I think they're like eight in their last 10, so they've crept back into it. They're like 4.5 back at this point. So we can put Boston kind of in the rear view this series if they just take it. We don't want to give them any life though, because when that team does get Bregman back, they're going to be even better. And if they add some pitching, they're going to be a damn good team. And we got to worry about Toronto right now, and Tampa Bay still somehow continuing to find ways to win, even though everyone counts them out. So yeah, but the thing that makes me very confident is that we are going to get guys back as well. Like you said, we're missing Stanton. Hopefully he's back this weekend, but it's still unsure. He's looked great in rehab. We're going to get Luke Weaver back. We're going to get Luis Gil back, and we also have the deadline to make some moves. So this team will be better, and they're playing really well right now. So I'm hoping that they can just keep the momentum going, and no punt lineups, exactly. Just no punting. Take this series seriously as you can.
Please.
That's why they sat Judge last night, and I was like, don't sit your best player against one of their best pitchers, but it ended up working out somewhat because we won 1-0, but yeah, we need Judge for all 3 games in Fenway.
Yeah, I mean, I managed to avoid getting myself upset after looking at that lineup. You'd be surprised, but I took the bigger picture, and I was like, Boston coming up.
Yep.
Aaron Judge has played every single day. I could sort of see it. If there was a day to give him a day off, it would probably be a 3rd game in Kansas City. I can live with it. So I was all right with it, and we still saw it through with a dub. I'm not worried about, in terms of the division, I'm not worried about Tampa Bay. I still think that they're kind of rebuilding. They're just a very well managed team. And they managed to get more out of some of their parts, because I don't really like much of some of their parts, but they find ways of doing it. I think Boston are a very good team. I actually picked them to win the actual division before the season started, because I thought, look at that team on paper, it's really good. But the pitching hasn't worked out for them. And obviously the injuries they can't account for. We'll see. I think Boston will get better. I do think they'll go on a run later once they get kind of whole. And I like Cora. I think Cora's a very good manager. So I'm sure Boston will be a threat. Toronto a weird one because on talent, the talent wise, they're fantastic. They've always had the talent. It's
It
just
just never clicks for them.
they've never really clicked, has it? Never really clicked. That's why I've maybe not really paid much attention to Toronto yet. But I always get worried when we play them because their talent level is pretty excellent. So we'll see. Maybe they are our biggest threat. But I do think that if we have a great series here, then we could really lay a marker down for the division.
Yeah, the team in the division that's really the most surprising is actually is Baltimore, because they had such a youth injection the last couple seasons and were looking like they were going to be the team to beat, and their pitching is just dissolved to almost nothing from injuries, and they did nothing in the offseason. It was almost like they just gave up, and it's kind of sad because all those players that were coming up, you had a section of Yankee fans going, see, this is what they're better than us. They're better than us. Look who they got. Why can't we get that? And they're guys that they were all hyped up on are having just complete off seasons. They're not playing well at all, that team. That's surprising me the most.
Remember, everyone was saying, "Oh, they got new ownership. They're going to start outspending everybody now.
Yeah,
Look out for the Orioles."
waiting.
And they haven't spent shit. So, like their pitching's a joke. Their offense should be a lot better than it is. Like Adley Rutschman has not had a great season. I'm looking at his numbers now. Gunnar Henderson started off slow, but he's picked it up. Luckily for them, Jackson Holiday does look like he's going to be legit. So they definitely have some promise with their younger players, but they're going to have to pay some of these guys eventually, and they're not really spending money. I'm not too worried about them. I know they've had some injuries, and their pitching isn't all that bad, but it's also not that good either. Like Charlie Morton was one of their signings, and he's been dreadful. So sometimes just getting a new owner doesn't necessarily correlate to automatic success. I mean, they actually got worse with the new ownership group, which you wouldn't think because their roster didn't change
Careful
much.
what you wish for sometimes.
Yeah.
They had one of the worst off seasons. Like
it was bad
among teams that are competing. That was like a disgusting off season. Let's talk a little bit about Will Warren. Sean is saying Warren is earning his pinstripes. What I noticed was he got in some trouble early. He wasn't locating his pitches. There was a couple of situations where he got himself in some trouble. There was one where there was a third with less than 2 outs. And you were kind of expecting it to go wrong. But David Cohen in the booth, shout out to him. I love listening to him in the booth, man. He was like, what can Will Warren do to get out of this? This is a big test for him. Like, let's see what pitch is he going to use to get himself out of this trouble. And shout out to Warren because he found that pitch and he got out of trouble. And then after he got out of trouble, because he worked up I think he was up to like 40 pitches after those 2 innings. And I didn't really think that there was going to be too much longevity there. But after the second inning, where he very fortunately got out of it, he completely changed. It was just like, I found my pitch. I managed to get the key guys out. Right, I'm in good shape here. And then the third inning onwards, he was very, very comfortable. I never really got in any trouble after that. So, it's actually more about what you can do when your stuff isn't totally working and then you're not totally locating your pitches. How do you get out of certain situations? And Warren proved that, and he didn't give up a single run. So what can you say, man? I mean, I thought Clark Schmidt was more impressive because everything was working for him, but Warren had to kind of fight a little bit, and he battled and he got through, and then he was very good from that point on. So decent.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the Warren is one of those you were waiting to see that bounce back outing where he was just more in control of what he was doing. And last night was that game that we were kind of waiting for after when he was going out against Boston. We were hoping he was gonna. Was it against Boston? Who did he play? that one pitch where he came off that really bad loss. We wanted him to bounce back. Which series was that one?
He had a bad start against the Dodgers, and then
Dodgers, that's the one.
It was might have been. Was it
I don't think he
Cleveland?
pitched against Boston.
Might have been Cleveland. I can't remember, but he wasn't very good in his last start either. So, it was the Guardians. So
Yeah.
I still don't know what he is. He was much better last night, and I do think that he serves more as what Doran's saying here, more of like a hybrid type of Ramiro Mendoza type. I hate
Agreed.
comparing to players of the dynasty, but that does fit Warren's skill set more for me. Hopefully he can develop into a good 4 or 5 starter, and that'd be great because we can use the depth. But I just think his stuff, the fact that his sweeper's so good, he's got a lively fastball. I've always thought that he doesn't have enough great pitches. He's got a heavy pitch mix, but they're not great. So I just think that we got to see more because he's been too up and down. You can't be like, oh, this guy one start he gives you 6 in a shutout, and then like the next 2 he's giving up like a total of 10 runs, and you're like, what is he exactly? But he's young, so you can kind of live with the growing pains because it's better than the alternative, which is Cookie Carrasco or Marcus Stroman. So I'd rather watch Will Warren try to fight through these things and watch some of these veterans that are just not good anymore. I really don't know what he is. I still think his best skill set is that long relief role, that Michael King type that can give you a spot start here and there. Because when he gets himself into trouble, that's when he's missing the zone a lot. But when that sweeper's moving, it's almost impossible to hit because he's racking up strikeouts every single time he's out there. So that's one thing you can't deny about him. Is he's got great strikeout stuff. That's why I think he can be really freaking good in the bullpen, more so than a starter. But if he turns out starts like this, and you're like, well, you kind of want to see him go 5 or 6 on any given night. So he just really needs to find the consistency, and he hasn't really found it yet.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I agree with that totally.
No, it's we are going to see what he's going to be as the season goes on. If he, like I said, I think the Michael King role comparison might actually be what saves him on this team. Once we get Heel back, when that comes, because that's still a little ways down that's still a couple months away, I believe. But we're going to see what his role is going to be, and we'll just hope that he embraces it just like he is now with the starting role, because he is starting to figure it out. But before we go any further, we have been talking a lot about these Yankees from the Royal Series, and we're going to see in a moment how they did pair up in the voting for the awards. But before we do that, just make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, and share this out around your social medias. I want to give a quick good morning to everybody that is hanging out with us in the chat. We got Sean Browning with us. We got Doran, TC Steels. Also got Elliot hanging out with us. We got FJ, Sean Browning. We got Jonathan. We got Mr. Barrows. Good morning, Mr. Barrows. And then we had who was it? Who was the first one? Dev Finch.
Dev, tell Dev I'll take it from here. Dev, go to sleep. Dev, what are you doing? Get some sleep, my man. We love you. Jesus Christ, man. Get some sleep. It's 4 a.m. What are you doing up? We love all you guys.
Then Jonathan at 6 a.m. I mean, you guys are. I can't even complain. I'm up late at night also. So John the Beagle Dad hanging out with us this morning as well. But it is that time.
No, it's not, because we know what we haven't done yet. We haven't talked about Aaron James Judge. We've managed to go 2 full episodes without talking about the Judge, who hit like a 500-foot home run into the Hall of Fame building. We didn't talk about it last time, and then he hit a home run the next day. He is like, people are going just to watch him now. You know what I'm saying? Like, people in Kansas were just going to watch Aaron Judge, and then they left after Aaron Judge's last at bat in game 2. That just shows what he is, man. Like, special, bro.
Oh, Captain, my Captain. We gotta enjoy it, man. Did you hear the groan from the crowd when he swung and missed like this first at bat of the game. I think it was game 1 or 2. Like he missed it a slider, and the crowd was like, "Oh!" Like they want to see him hit. Like that's how special this guy is at the plate. He's hitting like 400. It's June 13th, and he's hovering around 400. His on base is like 500. His OPS is through the roof. He's the only 6-WAR player in baseball, and nobody's even like at 5 at this point. So he's like a full run better, or win. He's a full win better, or full 2 wins better than pretty much everybody else in the sport. And you saw that last night. You take him out of the lineup, the offense goes from 16 runs to 1 run. Like that's how important he is to this team. Just having him there, it's like you can't say enough about Aaron Judge. Every time he swings the bat, he's an amazing player. He's a phenomenal right fielder. Like that's kind of gone under the radar as how good he's been in right field this year. He wasn't very good in center. He did the job for the most part, but in right field he's outstanding, and he seems a lot more comfortable at the plate, being more comfortable in the field. I know he loves center field, but he just never looked comfortable out there. And yeah, Dorn, his contracts turn out to be a steal. Like if he would enter free agency right now, he'd get paid like $60 million a year.
Yeah, he would definitely beat
$1 billion.
Yeah. It's like I saw on X yesterday with that bald-headed bozo, not name myself, with his take on sorry, Rob, that we that we're missing, that we're pissed off that Soto's playing so well, and like Rob pointed out, and we said it all along. One, it was a matter of time before he started to hit, and we're so pissed off while we're watching this historic season from Judge, but we still can't get over it. There's nothing for us to watch on our team. I mean, are they that full of themselves? This guy just hit 469 feet, hitting the Hall of Fame sign. You got groans when he gets out from the home crowd. You have them. All right, you didn't hit a home run. His final at bat of the game. So in blowout, they all got up and left. But there's nothing for us to watch on our team. Our team is boring without this other guy that left. And I'm like, come on. We're watching every time he comes into a season. We keep saying, "Wow, Judge is having a record-setting year." This is now 4 years in a row we're saying this, and every year he just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah,
it's scary how good he is. He just needs one good postseason that gets us a ring. He just needs one, like A-Rod did, and everything that's been said about him will go away. And to that other bald moron, I think I know who you're alluding to from that awful network. Yeah. Fuck him, because this guy for like 2-3 months was yapping about how much of a bad contract it was, and he's a walk merchant, blah blah blah. And you got that guy that Barstool's using like a puppet, throwing his hat around because Juan Soto's not hitting. None of us said Juan Soto stunk. None of us said Juan Soto was a bad contract. None of us said that Juan Soto was a bad player. In fact, all of us said that Juan Soto is eventually going to start hitting, and you're all going to look like fucking idiots, like Sal Licata, for saying anything negatively about him for the first month or 2 of the season. And lo and behold, Juan Soto, one of the best players in the sport, is tearing the cover off the ball, and the Mets are winning more games because of it. What a concept. One of the best players heats up. Who would have expected one of the best players in the sport to heat up? And they want to come after us like we're the problem. So Sal Licata should look at himself in the mirror. It might break, but he should look at himself in the mirror before calling out Yankee fans, because he can't get us out of his mouth. Shut up, worry about your team, and we'll worry about 99 and the Yankees, because we don't have to worry about the Mets until we see you again in July and maybe in October. Maybe it comes down to that, but I don't care about the Mets, but they keep reeling us back in just to get roasted again. So go celebrate Grimace's birthday, you morons. Stop talking about us. It has nothing to do with the Yankees. You're winning games, and yet still, you want to bring up the New York Yankees. Talk about little brother syndrome. Shut up. Leave us alone. We're trying to leave you alone, but you just keep having to fucking stroke the pot, or whatever it is. Stir the pot. You want to come after us for no reason. Fuck them, man. I'm so sick of them.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the dumbest host of them all?
I mean, there's a few of them.
They all work for the same network.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Pretty easy to choose. Yeah, let's get into the awards, shall we? Mirror, mirror on the wall, what's the best podcast of them all? The Pinstripe Chronicles. That's right. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button if you haven't already done so. Not getting enough likes. Kind of disappointed about that. You don't want to let us down. Come on. Hit that like button. Everyone take the time to hit that like button for us. Much appreciated. All right, let's get into the awards. Who's your MVP, guys? Everyone in the chat, put up your MVP. Who is your MVP of the series? I am going to get started. And I am going to go with Austin Powers, Austin Wells himself. Austin Wells is my MVP. That's right. I'm giving it to Austin Wells. Why? Because, well, he was pretty much the entire offense in game one. And then he was the offense, a lot of the offense as well in game two. He kept coming through. Austin Wells was terrific. From the 9-hole as well. And he was driving in a ton of runs from the 9-hole. Maybe that's something that Aaron Boone might have stumbled on, because that is one hell of a 9-hitter. Because if you look at what he's on track for, I think he's on track for 80 plus, maybe 90 RBIs from the and that's apparently him struggling this year, which says to me, imagine when he actually gets like consistently good. Because yeah, he's his average hasn't really been there, and he's been a little bit inconsistent offensively, but his numbers are still there, which is a great sign, which means that once he gets that consistency, he is going to be one of the better catchers in the American League if he's not already there. Well, he certainly is already there defensively, but offensively as well. I think he's great. He gets the MVP for me. Rob?
I had Austin Wells as well. I wanted to go with Judge, but if you look at what Wells did throughout the series, it's hard to go against Judge for that mammoth home run, but Austin Wells just... He's been great. Like, I don't know his exact numbers over the last couple of weeks, but like he's been red hot. And yeah, even during his slump, he was still like right around that league average OPS mark. So it wasn't like it was just the end of the world for him. But yeah, like I'm trying to find his numbers for like the last couple of weeks, but when I do, I'm probably going to be blown away. He's been really good, and this series was no different. He's still calling a phenomenal game behind the plate every time he's out there, and he's hitting the crap out of the ball now. Yep. So yeah, you're right. And we've been saying this. If you have the bottom of your order in some shape or form with Volpe and Wells, you're going to start getting production from those guys. And when we get a full lineup, you're going to see a lot more of Volpe 7, Wells 9, or some capacity, and it's going to be really fun.
Looks like those in the chat are going Wells as well. What about Uncle Tats?
It's a sweep at a sweep, and I had Wells as well. It's pretty much for all the same reasons you guys are saying. His bat is really starting to pick up. He was a very key part at the plate and behind the plate this series. So I have to, even being put into the 9-hole, that was a great point made. It doesn't matter where you put him. Maybe this is that, where after the first go around is that secondary leadoff position that he was, being utilized a lot in the spring. So maybe that is a good spot for him. You'd like to see him more in the middle of the lineup, but if they're going to put him there, at least we know it's going to work. So yeah, Wells, I thought had a great series in Kansas City.
Shout out to Lil Daly, who's watching on Facebook. She's given us a love heart emoji on Facebook. So just wanted to give you a special shout out. Thank you so much. Let's go with the low-key MVP. I think this is pretty much going to be easy. It has to be Aaron Judge. He's doing things that what I'm worried about, and this goes for all Yankee fans in general, is that we take it for granted. Because it's just he does this so routinely that he's hitting 400 and he's got 25 home runs, and every single time he's at bat, he looks every time he's up. There she is. Salute. Every time that he's up, it looks like he's going to hit a home run, and to be by and large, he does. I think we kind of take it for granted, and we can't, because this is This is not normal. He's not human. That home run was one of the farthest home runs, I think, in the history of Kansas City. I think there was maybe one that went
There's
out of the
one
ballpark.
further than that.
But
Jonathan Scope actually has the furthest.
yeah. So, but it's in there. It's in the conversation because it hit the top of the Hall of Fame building, which is just crazy. So what can you say, man? And then the next day, his last at bat, I was like, Judge hasn't hit a home run yet, and boom. He's what can you say, man? What can you say? The guy's special. And I what's cool about him is I think he's even growing into being more of a leader this year. There just seems to be something about him that's just a little different this year. He's extra motivated. He just seems a little tougher. And I don't know. I'm getting leadership vibes that I wasn't really feeling in previous years. I've always been honest about that. I'm feeling it this year. I'm feeling like, okay, this guy is very much the captain now. He's captain of this ship. Maybe it was getting to the World Series and missing out is just kind of giving them an extra thing because he just seems a little bit more intense this year, and I love it. I love it. Give it all. Give me all of it. Rob, you're obviously has always been his biggest fan. Do you see what my point is though?
I think you're spot on with that because it was never more apparent than I think against the Red Sox where he had a big hit and he put himself in like the record books with another Yankee legend. And he was like, yeah, it would have been cooler if we won. And that's the exact kind of answer you want to hear. And that's what everyone wants to say. Like, oh, he's not Jeter. Well, Jeter would have said the same thing. He would have said, it doesn't matter because we didn't win.
Yeah.
So, but every time Judge plays, he's putting himself in the same categories as guys like DiMaggio and Mantle and Gehrig. And it's just like, what else does he need to do now for people to be like, I know the playoffs have been an issue lately for him, but sit back and just enjoy what you're watching because we're not even in a position to sniff the postseason without Aaron Judge. So obviously I speak for all Yankee fans when I say that hopefully he's going to get us one and he's not going to be known as a player that can get you there, but not get you to the big dance. Like he can help get you to the playoffs, but not get you to the championship. And once he breaks that, then he's going to go down as a Mount Rushmore Yankee. Like what he's doing right now, he's going to be third at least. He's going to be like second or third on the all-time home run list. He's breaking records constantly. He's passing names that you didn't think would get passed, and he's making it look easy. By the way, he's low-key MVP. I'm just saying, like, what he's doing. Yeah, what he's doing is just, it's unbelievable. So, yeah, I do think there are people that take it for granted because they can't help but think, but October, and I get it. You can't be excused for that. And I think that's not sitting right with him either because he knows how bad he was in that World Series, and he knows that if he was better, we probably have a chance at winning it or at making it a lot more of a fight. And you remember what happened after 2016? He kept that batting average in his wallet or something like that, or on his phone, and he just kept thinking about it. And next thing you know, he's become the best player in the world. So I think losing that World Series, losing that World Series is not sitting right with him. And then seeing his teammate go across town probably doesn't sit right with him too much, whether he wants to admit it or not. And now he's like, all right, I got to show you all that I'm even better than you think I am. And the fact that he's been better than 24 and 22 at this current state, like he's already on pace to do better than he did in 2 MVP seasons. So he's going to win, more than likely he's going to win another MVP, which is unbelievable. He should have 4 at this rate. He's an amazing player, and I'm damn happy he's going to be a Yankee for life.
So needless to say, he's your low key, right?
Yeah.
Uncle Tad.
Is there somebody else that should get it? And I'll add this because yes, Judge is the low key. He's also doing this without Soto in the lineup for protection. He's also doing this without Stanton in the lineup for protection. Right. So they have to shuffle around the lineup for a hot hand to put around him to make sure that he's getting every opportunity to get a legitimate at bat. And let's a quick side. I want to actually credit some of the opposing, except for Ron Washington. When I actually liked the laughing exchange between the two of them when they were walking him, but they're actually challenging him at the plate a lot more. They're not just giving him the free pass. all the time. So I'll give them. I'll give the opponents that part. They are letting him play, and they're letting him swing the bat, and he's making them pay for it. How long that lasts, I don't know, but Judge is just something. You know, I've made this comparison. I saw Doran did it earlier. You know, with you don't want him to be that Donnie Baseball that has all this reverence and never winning. The only difference is, Donnie never really got the opportunity to shine in October, where Judge has been getting pretty much every year. He's got a chance to make a difference. So yeah, I think that emphasizes the pressure on him. If I got to be fair about it, and it's up to him to get back to the World Series, dial in, and make a difference.
Spot on. Right. Let's wonder if one of us will have something a little bit different, because we're all basically shooting 100% so far with these awards. Let's go with the Clutch Award. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to give it to Austin Powers. He was very clutch. So Austin Wells is my Clutch Award winner. Let's go with Uncle T.
All right, yeah, we are. This is where the streak comes to an end. I actually have Williams as my clutch. Is 2 clean outings in the series, especially very very low pitch counts in both. I thought that was the Williams that we've needed to see, and when you're able to sweep a team then going up to Boston, it was something where you need to be right. You need to go into that series on a high. And Williams closing out those 2 games gave me that.
Rob.
I can't give it to Pablo Reyes because he slipped and tripped. I thought about it. I was like, he scored a run, but he almost didn't score a run. But yeah, I went with Devin Williams as well, because had he given up a lead in a 1-run game, we'd be in really serious trouble. I think he has like 13 of his last 15 outings are scoreless. So he's really turned it around. And I do want to give some credit to Aaron Boone, because him making that switch as early as he did got Williams' confidence back, and it's worked wonders, because now he's gone back into the 9th inning role, and his last few outings have been very good. He's been clean. He's getting strikeouts. That may have been one of Aaron Boone's best decisions in 7+ years as a manager, was making that switch as quickly as he did, which says something about Aaron Boone. But
I was going to say,
because,
I don't know if that's a compliment.
It's not.
Backhanded compliment.
It's kind of a backhanded compliment, because Aaron Boone hasn't had many great decisions, but doing it when he did and making sure that Williams didn't fully collapse, I think may have saved the season for this bullpen, because with a struggling Williams and no Luke Weaver, who knows where this team would be. We'd still probably have a plus 500 record, but we wouldn't be 17 games over, that's for sure. So I do want to give credit to Devin Williams, because he has really been good over his last maybe month or so. He's been like lights out, aside from a couple of rough outings.
Does it shock you that he's 9 out of 10 now in the season in saves? Doesn't it seem like he would have blown more at this point?
Yeah. A couple of his bad outings came in extras. I don't know if those count for blown saves or not, but
the saves, I think, in the extras, unless it's an actual save up
ghost runner shit.
I actually don't know how they come. That's why it's so stupid.
Because they're not earned runs, so it's like, can you blow a save if it's not an earned run?
It's weird.
Yeah,
it does mess with the stat lines a lot.
Thanks, Manfred. Thanks, players.
Yeah.
Next award, the Golden Glove of Missouri goes to Trent Grisham. Absolute cinema. Let's 2 seconds, because we don't want to go too long. But Trent Grisham, fucking amazing, right?
Oh, absolutely. His defense is just what you need in center field.
Unbelievable. Maybe we do need to get a glove award in there at some point. Let's go with the next one. It has to be. It's my favorite one. You know which one it is. It is the Boy Blue Award. We need to get that. There it is. Where it is. Here we are. You're my boy blue. You're my boy blue. Rob, who's your boy blue?
Anthony Volpe is my boy. He had a good series at the plate up until last night, and his defense, that play, beautiful. That's my shortstop. And I'm happy to see that he's showing off that range a little bit more, and he showed off that arm because a lot of people said he didn't have one. That's my boy right there. Anthony Volpe, keep doing your thing.
Uncle Tats, who's your boy blue?
Yeah, this one, because there were a lot of contributions for multiple players, so I was really, I want to make sure I didn't double up on a player. But for my boy this week, this is where I went with Grisham for his glove. He might, and he didn't have terrible. He actually was pretty decent at the plate too. He had some good at bats. But his defense, I think, is really what saved a couple of runs from it really tilting the series. And so I went with Grisham for Boy Blue.
I like it. My boy Blue. It's this guy. That's right. I'm whipping it out. I'm whipping this big bad boy out. Aaron Judge. That's right. I said it. All pun intended. I'm whipping this bad boy out. Aaron Judge, number 62. Fucking bobblehead I got here. Do you know why? It's because he's become an even better player since hitting 62 home runs. How is that possible? How do you have arguably the greatest season in American League history, in the history of the American League, and then you become a better player after that? How is it possible? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that possible? So I'm doubling up on the credit because I've not given him enough credit. I needed him to prove to me something because that postseason was a disgrace and I was rightfully angry about it. I needed to see things. He's come out and he's just on a different stratosphere. And I came across something on Twitter. I didn't really study it, but I know he had a conversation with Anthony Rizzo about the Yankee way. And Rizzo was like, the Yankee way is if you don't win a championship, then the season's a failure. And Aaron Judge went, goddamn right. So, boom, you're goddamn right. Aaron Judge is my boy Blue. And I think everyone should hit the like button for, not for me, not for Rob, not for Tats, for Aaron frickin' James Judge, who makes this team pretty damn special these days. And I think we should all give him extra kudos because he's on another platform right now. And boy, for those 7 innings, that was the most boring 7 innings without Aaron Judge, I'll tell you yesterday. Like, if you guys want a little glimpse of what 7 innings without Aaron Judge looks like, it's 0 runs and absolutely nothing happening. So there you go. Aaron Judge is he's pretty much everything. So he's my boy Blue. Aaron Boone, I'm going to keep it very quick. 7 out of 10. Rob.
Yeah, I went with the 8. He didn't do anything wrong. Good series. I'm very afraid to give him good grades though because he seems to let us down. But yeah, he was fine this series. He did nothing wrong. Even sitting Aaron Judge, I was like, I can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, I do complain about his use of lighter because that guy is frightening. But he didn't really have too many options. But apart from that, Uncle Tats.
Yeah, I gave him a 9. I usually go with the 10 on a sweep, but no, he's being punished for his, the last couple of series where he just completely embarrassed the team. Even though it did work out, you did put Reyes in the lineup, which it is never going to go. 9 out of 10 times will not go over well, or 9.9% chance. So I'm not giving Boone the full 10 on the sweep this time. I can't do it. Sweep Boston, then maybe you'll get a 10 again.
John Miguel goes 9. Mr. Barris goes 8. CVB goes 7. So Sunil trying to annoy us by putting a decimal point in there, 8.5.
Shocker.
But to be fair, Mr. Barros, your dad has 8.5, so I can't go after Sunil. So it looks like the chat is going 8.5. There we go. So fuck us, all right? Let's go with the L. Let's go with Rob first.
I'll say this: I had an L, but I don't have a Hicks. My L was Mark Leiter. Just is a 6-0 game, and you're giving us you're giving us a reason to use Devin Williams. That was really the only L of the series. Like, you can laugh and be like, it's Pablo Reyes for tripping and falling, but he worked his ass off in that, and he wasn't helped much by that godforsaken third base coach. So,
godforsaken.
Yeah, Leiter was like the only L for me because he just did not look good in a 6-0 game. And it was like, why is it in the blowouts this bullpen seems to blow up, but in the one-run games they're killing it? I don't get it. Mark Leiter was the only L.
I agree with you. I'm going to give it to Leiter too. He put us on unnecessary stress by having to use extra relievers. He was awful yesterday. Had to get him out of the game quick. And then also give up a ton of runs, obviously, and then we had to get Williams in there to save. It was just that dude is absolute buns. Tats, who's your L?
My L is actually not a player. The L is actually after our conversation behind the scenes after the last show. I gave the L to myself for complaining about the heat.
Yes.
So.
Right?
I've been waiting for this, and I did not want to forget, so I wrote it down in my notes. I'm like, I put myself in the L spot as soon as that conversation ended. So, Rob, give us the backstory of why I gave myself the L.
Right. My time to shine, baby. So a few months ago, our old Uncle Tats was complaining about how cold it was. It was so cold. And I said, you know what? Give it a few months, guys, because he is going to complain about the heat when it starts to get hot. Once we hit summer, he's going to say it's so fucking hot out here. Sure enough, we are off air. He was talking about how hot it was, and I said, Tats, I've had this little half of a napkin next to my computer. I don't know if you guys can read that, but it does say Tats will complain about the weather when it is hot. So it's been sitting next to my computer for months, waiting for the day that he complained about the heat. I win, and Uncle Tats takes the L. This is a moral victory for me. I knew it was coming. I've known this man for too long now. But kudos to Tats for taking the L for himself there.
The Rob supremacy strikes again. Absolute cinema. How did you predict it, bro? I forgot. You had it fucking written down.
He told me to keep a note. I said, all right, I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to keep a note. I'm not kidding. It's been next to my computer for months. Months, because I knew it was coming, because he's done it every year for the last 5 years. I don't blame him. I hate the heat. So when it gets hot, I'm complaining too, but I'm not going to complain about the cold. I'm in Florida cold, not New York cold, so it's much different.
Yeah, right.
Well, New York, it went from cold and rainy in the mid 60s to freaking 80, 90 degrees. I'm like, that's a big jump.
Well, one thing I'll never do to you, Tats, I'll never subject you to having to go to Texas, because for multiple reasons. One, Sunil's there, and two, it's Texas, so I won't have you go there.
If it's above 70, to me, it's hot.
Right. Let's get to the pitching award, because we haven't done that yet. I'm giving it to About Schmidt. What about you, Rob?
Clark Schmidt?
Yep. Tats?
Yeah, it was easy to go with Fried. He's Fried, and it's after a loss. But we didn't get a chance to really hype up Schmidt on Wednesday because we did focus a lot on Fried's start. So we're going to end it with the positive awards with the sweep of our own again. I had Schmidt.
Absolutely. Right, let's get to the last one, the fun one. It has to be none other than this boy, the Aaron Hicks Award. So let's start with Rob. Who's your Aaron Hicks? Do you have one?
Well, I didn't up until about maybe 45 seconds ago when I saw Sunil's joke about the armadillos. That was pretty bad. But no, realistically, I don't have a Hicks Award. There was nothing that was catastrophically bad. Even Reyes tripping, that was more funny to me. I was like, of course it was him. But he scored the run that won the game, so I can't be like, fuck him. It was rough, but yeah, I don't have a Hicks Award.
I thought you'd maybe go with that bald-headed fuck from WFAN for inserting Juan Soto in a conversation that just doesn't matter anymore.
I already eviscerated him earlier.
Yeah, we'll count that as your Aaron Hicks.
Circle back about 20 minutes in the stream.
Yeah, that was your, I mean, I agree. Because when he said that, I came across that, and he's like, "The Yankee fan is worried about Juan Soto." I'm like, "Is he?" I didn't even know he was talking. I didn't know. I don't care. I haven't looked at a Mets box score at all. The only time I've ever looked at a Met uniform was when they played the Yankees. Like, Juan Soto doesn't exist in my bubble right now. It's just like, salute to the guy. Don't wish him ill, but I really don't care.
The only time we bring him up is when we're roasting another media outlet for bringing it up. That's the only time we're not sitting here fucking crying about it.
No, but they have to insert the Yankees into their conversation because they are not relevant, even when they are good. And that's the funny thing about the Mets. They are very good. They are a very, very good team. But by and large, they're very irrelevant. No one cares about outside of Queens and what the Mets do. And that is just a fact. Outside of people in Queens, nobody cares about the Mets. Not a single person. And I know Met fans will get upset about that. So I want people in Sportswire Radio, because a lot of you guys are Met fans, you guys have to realize something. No one cares about the Mets. Not a single soul outside of Queens. You just have to accept that. Enjoy that. Ruminate in it. Take a bath in it. Right. My Rob. We've done Rob. Uncle Tats, who's your Aaron Hicks?
I gave it to the umpires. It didn't matter who was behind the plate. They all were blind. They don't know what a check swing is. I'm like, that was probably overall. Usually you'll have one ump there, behind the plate that just can't figure out what the strike zone is. All 3 games they were atrocious for both sides again. This isn't like they were only blowing the zone on the Yankees. The Royals too got hosed a couple of times. They got to be better. That was real. I mean, usually you see like on the edge of the box. You're like, all right, it's whether he's a hitter friendly or pitcher friendly. I mean, there were strikes that were obvious strikes that were missed, and you can't do that. They got to be better than that. No wonder why that player on the Rays got tossed for tapping the top of his head, because they need the ABS system in pronto.
Okay, my Aaron Hicks Award. Drum roll, please.
Oh boy.
This thing.
You found him.
Watch. To be honest, that looks like me when I get up in the morning without a coffee. That's like me when I don't have a coffee. I'm just like stagger out the door. Like that's me without a coffee in the morning. What on earth? And the thing is, the funny thing is, the bar is incredibly low in Kansas City. This guy comes out when they have a walk, when Pasquatch or whatever his name is, or Pasquantino has a walk.
Yeah.
That's it, the Pasquatch. He goes for a walk. He has a walk, and then this guy goes for a walk. He just staggers about like Uncle Ted's in the morning without a coffee. It's just like honestly, like what? Wait, how is that your thing? Is that your thing, Kansas? Is that your thing? You got it. Come on. I mean, come on. I mean, Pittsburgh, they have pierogi races. I mean, that's not much better, but at least it's kind of something to do with Pittsburgh because they like pierogies. God knows what that is. I tried it and it was disgusting. Anyway, but Kansas, that's your thing. You got a dude in a Sasquatch suit just going for a walk, looking lost and confused. That's your thing? Unbelievable. That doesn't make any sense to me.
At least we know Sasquatch is real now.
Yep.
The mystery's been solved.
Yeah, but he only comes out when Pasquantino goes for a walk. That's cool. All right, that's all right. Because I was funny because I'm loving the new booth. By the way, who's the lead announcer? And yes, I thought he was great.
It was Justin. No, was it
Yeah, he was
Justin
great.
Shackle?
Yeah, he was great.
It might have been Shackle,
Cohen.
yeah.
And
It was
Shackle was
Shackle
like,
and Cohen. Yeah.
Shackle was completely confused. He was like, because Cohen obviously started in Kansas City. He's like, could you fill me in on the what is this? Like, the bar seems very low. He only comes out for a walk when he has a walk. He's like, yeah, it's Kansas. Like, all right. So, that's my Aaron Hicks. I was like, I'll tell you, I honestly thought I was like, when that dude came out, and I was like half watching, and I was like, wait, what, am I on drugs? Like, what did I just? Why am I seeing Bigfoot walking across the screen in Kansas City? Like, what? Anyway, that's that.
Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious.
Bigfoot is real, and he lives in Missouri.
Of all places to go, that's where he went. Well, it's still better than Texas.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you can choose about 49 other states that are better to go to than Texas. And a territory.
We're all hyped up. We're enjoying the sweep. We're enjoying the laughs. We're also enjoying all of you hanging out with us. And if you want to join it, all you got to do is...
I'm sorry. Can I cut you off for a
go ahead.
second? Chewbacca's a Wookiee. This is Star Wars. I mean, shut up, Sunil.
Damn. Missouri, yeah. Rob, Missouri, I don't see it. I don't see Missouri as being the great place for Bigfoot.
No,
It's
the
better
fact
than
that he thought
Texas.
Chewbacca was actually a Sasquatch that's what's sad.
Right. Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Can I change my Ella Ward to him?
Well, the thing is, I saw more of the Sasquatch than I did Kansas City runs in this series. So I guess that's why he's there. To keep Kansas City fans interested, because he scored nothing the entire series. Nothing. I saw a couple of Jonathan India hits. That was about it.
Yeah, well, hopefully we don't see too many hits from over the weekend from the next opponent in Boston, because we have some payback to give them for what they did in our park. So now here comes the revenge of the Bronx. So hopefully when we come back on Monday, we will be celebrating another series win, hopefully a sweep, and get Boone back that 10 score in his card. Because until he sweeps an AL East team, I'm banning him from a 10 grade. So with that,
You guys have the pitching matchup before we go.
I will certainly get that up. So
Thank you.
tonight, game one of this series on MLB Network, it'll be Ryan Yarbrough versus Garrett Crochet. So a battle of lefties. We got to deal with Crochet again. Hopefully we can put up some runs against him and keep them off the board. Game two, we got Rodon versus Hunter Dobbins. So another chance to hear the same old story for another fucking start about how he said he would never pitch for the Yankees. And then we've got Sunday, 1:35, so it's not a night game. Thank God we avoid ESPN. It is going to be Max Fried, the ace, versus Brian Bayo in the final game of the 3-game set.
All right. Well, that's a tough game. One's a tough one because the Red Sox love Yarbrough. They love hitting Yarbrough. But game two and game three look pretty good for us.
yeah, if Yarbrough's able to bounce back and and give us a solid outing again, then let's just hope that last outing with Boston was just a hiccup, because he has been pretty reliable. Let's see now that he'll learn from his mistakes. He's got a little better handle of their bats and their approach, because that's just the way it is. And yeah, with Crochet on the mound tonight, the first game is gonna be tough. I think if you're able to get this, I don't want to say steal because we are in first place. If you're able to take the first game, I think you take the wind out of the sails for Boston the rest of the weekend. So, because they're going to feel like with Crochet that this is a lock for them to win.
Well, we also thought that last time because we took game one and then ended up getting embarrassed in game 2 and 3. So I would just say go game by game, and Aaron Boone needs to go game by game and not worry about the game ahead of him. Worry about the game that's in front of him. He said it's always right in front of us. Well, play like it and manage like it. Hey, Lou. Hi, Lou. How you doing? How did you like that play by your favorite shortstop yesterday?
I had to own it too, Lou.
Actually, and then one more thing before we do sign off. Do want to send our best to TC Steele's dad, JC, Big Time Jerry, who's dealing with some health issues. So if everybody could just send a little thought toward or prayer towards his way, and I will try to keep in contact with TC and get updates for everybody as the days go on. But our best to Big Time Jerry, great guy, great friend, great supporter of the channel. And so Big Time Jerry, we're praying for you. So get well soon.
Get better, buddy.
So, and with that, make sure you do hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out, and remember always wear those pinstripes of pride and play hard.
Thanks, guys.
Fuck Boston.